Once again, we are the Group 2, and today we will present the human body system, which includes skeletal and circulatory system, and on how you will take care of your body system when you age. Before we proceed to the main topic, let's have an overview. What is a skeletal and circulatory system? What are the changes in your system when you age? How to take care of the skeletal and circulatory system? What is aging, elderly, and geriatrics? And lastly, the theories of aging. Before we begin, allow me to introduce myself. I am Carissa Marila Forga, and now I will give you some definition of terms. What is elderly? Elderly means old or aging. What is aging? Aging is a gradual, continuous process of natural change that begins in early adulthood. What is gerontology? Gerontology is the study of all aspects of the aging process and its consequences in humans. And lastly, what is geriatrics? The term geriatric comes from the Greek word geron, means old man, and iatros, meaning healer or medicine. Geriatric means related to caring old people. And now for the next reporter, let us hear from Sir Mark Angelo Espina to discuss the aging population and Erik Erikson theory. That's all. Thank you.
Good morning everyone, I'm Mark Angelo Espina and I'll be reporting to you the categorizing the aging population and Erikson's theory. Categorizing the aging population: young to old, 65 to 75 years old, 75 to 85 years old to old, 85 to 100 years old, elite old, over 100 years old. Most frequently reported health issues for those over 60 included arthritis 50%, hypertension 38%, heart disease 32%, cancer 22%. Here's the Erikson's theory of middle and older adulthood. We have the generativity versus self-absorption or stagnation, stages and ages. 40 to 65 years old, middle adulthood, mode nurturing, virtue, care. Characteristic of stages. Matured adults are concerned with establishing and guiding the next generation. Adults look beyond the self and express concern for the future of the world in general. Theory addendum. Self-absorbed adults will be preoccupied with their personal well-being and material gains. Preoccupation with self leads to stagnation of life. We have ego integrity versus despair. 65 years old, older adulthood. Mode acceptance, virtue, wisdom. Characteristics of stages. Older adults can look back with a sense of satisfaction and acceptance of life in them. Theory addendum. Unsuccessful resolution of this crisis may result in a sense of despair, in which individuals view life as a series of misfortunes, disappointment, and failures. The next slides will be the video of the science of aging and the video of human life cycle.
While many search for the proverbial fountain of youth, you might be wondering, why do we age in the first place? What is it about our bodies or cells biologically that causes us to grow old? There's a variety of internal and external factors such as diet, exercise, or environmental stress which all contribute to cell damage and repair and affect the rate of aging. But the surprising truth is that, apart from these, we actually have a biological clock buried within our genetic makeup, and this clock can only run for so long. In other words, we're programmed to die. Your body is made up of trillions of cells which are constantly going through cell division, and every time they divide, they make a copy of their DNA as well. This DNA is tightly packed into structures called chromosomes, of which humans have 23 pairs. The problem is, DNA replication isn't quite perfect and skips over the end of each chromosome. To protect against important DNA information being cut out, we have something called telomeres on the end of chromosomes, which are essentially meaningless repeats of DNA that we can afford to lose. But every time our cells divide, these telomeres become shorter and shorter until eventually they've been entirely stripped away, at which point the cell no longer divides. Some flatworms are able to endlessly regenerate their telomeres, making them effectively biologically immortal. but their lifespans do vary and they're still susceptible to disease, further suggesting that aging is a mix of genetic and environmental factors. But why don't our cells do this? Ultimately, this replication limit actually helps to prevent cancer, which is the uncontrollable growth of cells and evasion of cell death. The point at which a cell stops replicating is known as cellular senescence. In humans, this replication limit is around 50 times. Once it's reached, the cell gradually begins to lose its function and die, causing age-related characteristics. This also helps to explain why life expectancy is a strongly heritable trait from your parents, because you got your initial telomere length from them.
Next topic will be skeletal system. Let me introduce to you Miss Irish Pajardo.
Skeletal systems. The skeletal system works as a support structure for your body. It gives the body its shape, allows movement, makes blood cells, provides protection for organs, and store minerals. Why is bone health important? Your bones are continuously changing. New bone is made and old bone is broken down. When you're young, your body makes new bone faster than it breaks down old bone, and your bone mass increases. Most people reach their peak bone mass around age 30. After that, bone remodeling continues, but you lose slightly more bone mass than you gain. How likely you are to develop osteoporosis, a condition that causes bones to become weak and brittle, depends on how much bone mass you attain by the time you reach age 30. And how rapidly you lose it after that. The higher your peak bone mass, the more bone you have in the bank, and the less likely you are to develop osteoporosis as you age. For the next reporter, Ms. Miriam Feliciano. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm going to discuss now on what can I do to keep my bones healthy. What can I do to keep my bones healthy? Include plenty of calcium in your diet. For adults aged 19 to 50 and man ages 51 to 70, the recommended dietary allowance RDA is 1,000 milligrams of calcium a day. The recommendation increases to 1,200 a day for women aged 51 and older, for men aged 71 and older. Good sources of calcium include dietary products, almonds, broccoli, kale, canned salmon with bones, sardines, and soy products such as tofu. If you find it difficult to get enough calcium from your diet, ask your doctor about supplement. Pay attention to vitamin D. Your body needs vitamin D to absorb calcium. For adults 19 to 70, the RDA of vitamin D is 600 international units a day. The recommendation increases to 800 IUs a day for adults aged 71 and older. Good sources of vitamin D include oily fish such as salmon, trout, white fish, and tuna. Additionally, mushrooms, eggs, and fortified foods such as milk, cereals are good sources of vitamin D. Sunlight also contributes to the body's production of vitamin D. If you're worried about getting enough vitamin D, ask your doctor about supplements. Include physical activity in your daily routine. Weight-bearing exercises such as walking, jogging, and climbing stairs can help you build strong bones and slow bone loss. Avoid substance abuse. Don't smoke. If you are a woman, avoid drinking more than 1 alcoholic drinks each day. If you are a man, Avoid drinking for more than 2 alcoholic drinks a day. The next presenter is Ms. Ferrer to discuss what affects bone healthy.
What affects bone health? A number of factors can affect bone health. For example, the amount of calcium in your diet. A diet low calcium contributes to diminish bone density, early bone loss, and increase a risk of fracture. Physical activity. People who are physical inactivity have a higher risk of osteoporosis than do their more active counterparts. Tobacco and alcohol use. Research suggests that tobacco use contributes to weak bones. Similarly, regularly having more than 1 alcoholic drink a day for a woman or 2 alcoholic drinks a day for men may increase the risk of osteoporosis. Sex. You're at greater risk of osteoporosis if you're a woman because women have less bone tissue than a man. Size. You're at risk if you are extremely thin with a body mass index of 19 or less. You have a small body frame because you might have less bone mass to draw from as you age. Age. Your bones become thinner and weaker as you age. Race and family history. Your greatest risk of osteoporosis if you're white or of Asian descent. In addition, having a parent or sibling who has osteoporosis puts you at the greatest risk, especially if you also have a family history of fractures. Eating disorders and other conditions. Severely restricting food intake and being underweight weakens bone in both men and women. In addition, weight loss surgery and conditions such as celiac disease can affect your body's ability to absorb calcium. Certain medication. Long-term use of corticosteroid medication such as prednisone, cortisone, prednisolone, and dexamethasone is damaging to bone. Other drugs that might increase the risk of osteoporosis include aromatase, inhibitors to treat breast cancer, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, methotrexate, some anti-seizure medication such as phenytoin, dilantin, and phenobarbital and proton pump inhibitors. Hormone levels. Too much thyroid hormone can cause bone loss. In women, bone loss increases dramatically at menopause due to dropping estrogen levels. Prolonged absence of menstruation, amenorrhea before a menopause also increases the risk of osteoporosis. In men, low testosterone levels can cause a loss of bone mass. And now, let us hear the next topic with Ms. Aiza Gloriana. Thank you.
Common problems in the skeletal system. Osteoporosis, age changes, loss of balance stability. Changes in the skeletal system when we grow old. Changes in posture and gait, walking pattern are common with aging. Changes in the skin and hair are also common. The skeleton provides support and structure to the body. Joints are the areas where bones come together. They allow the skeleton to be flexible for movement. And a joint, bones do not directly contact each other. Instead, they are cushioned by cartilage, the joint. Synovial membranes are the joint and fluid muscles. Provide the force and strength to move the body. Coordination is directed by the brain, but is affected by changes in the muscles and joints. Changes in the muscles, joints, and bones affect the posture and walk, and lead to weakness and slow movement. Next presenter is Mr. Tercito Gonzalez Jr. to discuss aging changes and the bones effect of changes in the skeletal system.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. My topic is all about aging changes in the bones, muscle, and joints. First, people lose bone mass or density as they age, especially women after menopause. The bones lose calcium and other minerals. The spine is made up of bones called vertebrae. Vertebrae also lose some of their minerals content, making its bone thinner. The spinal column becomes curved and compressed. Bone spurs caused by aging and overall use of the spine may also fall on the vertebrae. The foot arcs become less pronounced, contributing to a slight loss of height. The long bones of the arms and legs are more brittle because of mineral loss, but they do not change length. This makes arms and legs look longer when compared with a shortened trunk. The joints become stiffer and less flexible. Fluids in the joints may decrease. The cartilage may begin to rub together and wear away. Minerals may deposit in and around some joints called calcification. This is the common around the shoulder. Hip and knee joints may begin to lose cartilage called degenerative changes. The finger joints lose cartilage and the bones thicken slightly. Finger joints changes, most often bony swelling called osteobites, are more common in the women. These changes may be inherited. When body mass decreases, this decrease is partly caused by a loss of muscle tissue atrophy. The speed and amount of muscle changes seem to be caused by genes. Muscle changes often begin in the 20s in men and in the 40s in women. Effect of changes in skeletal system. Bullet number 1. Bones become more brittle and may break more easily. Overall height decreases mainly because the trunk and spine shorten. Bullet number 2. Breakdown of the joints may lead to inflammation, pain, stiffness, and deformity. Joint changes affect almost all older people. These changes range from minor stiffness to severe arthritis. Bullet number 3. The posture may become more stoop, called bent. The knees and hips may become more flexed. The neck may tilt and the shoulder may narrow while the pelvis become wider. Bullet number 4. Movement is lost and may become limited. The walking pattern makes gait becomes slower and shorter. Walking may become unsteady and there is less arm swinging. Older people get tired more easily and have less energy. Bullet number 5. Strength and endurance change. Loss of muscle mass reduces strength. That's all my report. And the next reporter to be reported by Miss Shilami Ausan Ayan. Thank you.
Circulatory system. The circulatory system, also known as the cardiovascular system, is responsible for the flow of blood, hormones, and oxygen, which in turn helps maintain homeostasis in your body. It also transports lymph, which is a clear fluid that gets rid of the waste in your body. Why circulatory system is important? The circulatory system carries oxygen, nutrients, and hormones to cells and remove waste products like carbon dioxide. These roadways travel in one direction only to keep things going where they should. The circulatory system is responsible for bringing nutrients and oxygen to all cells in the body. Every tissue and organ in the body needs oxygen, ions, and nutrients to survive. Cardiovascular disease prevents the pumping of blood to tissue. The health of the cardiovascular system is maintained through lifestyle changes and commitments to diet and exercise. What is the most important thing in the circulatory system? The heart. The heart is the key organ in the circulatory system as a hollow, muscular pump, and its main function is to propel blood throughout the body. It usually beats from 60 to 100 times per minute, but can go much faster when necessary.
Common diseases that affect the circulatory systems: hypertension, atherosclerosis and coronary heart disease, stroke, heart attack, heart failure, abdominal aortic aneurysm, peripheral artery diseases. Keeping your circulatory system healthy. It is important to keep your circulatory system working at its best. Your heart pumps blood to every part of your body. It's thousands of miles of blood vessels. Blood carrying oxygen from lungs. If there is a problem with your blood, your heart or your blood vessels, our whole body can suffer. If you don't get enough oxygen to your brain, you might not be able to think clearly. If your stomach is not getting enough oxygen, it might be hard for you to digest food. If there is problem with one of your blood vessels, blood could stop flowing to a part of your body. Without it, those cells could die. How to care for the circulatory system. Reduce fats in the diet. Consume omega-3 fatty acids. Maintain a healthy weight. Eat fruits and vegetables. And now for the next topic, let's proceed to Miss Angeline Estidas.
What can you do to keep your circulatory system healthy? First, exercise. Second one is eat healthy foods. Changes in circulatory system when we grow old. Aging changes in the heart and blood vessels. Some changes in the heart and blood vessels normally occur with age. However, many other changes that are common with aging are due to worse by modifiable factors. If not treated, this can lead to the heart diseases.
Hi everyone, my name is Jaime. I'm going to share you about this interesting topic, the aging changes in the blood vessel under Elderly Care 1. Aging changes in the heart and blood vessel. The heart has a natural pacemaker system that controls the heartbeat. Some of the pathways of the system may develop fibrous tissue and fat deposits. The natural pacemaker, the sinoatrial or SA node, loses some of its cell. These changes may result in a slightly slower heart rate, a slight increase in the size of the heart, especially the left ventricle, occurs in some people. The heart wall thickens, so the amount of blood that the chamber can hold may actually decrease, despite the increased overall heart size. The heart may feel more slowly. The heart often causes the electrocardiogram or ECG of a normal, healthy older person to be slightly different than the ECG of a healthy younger adult. Abnormal rhythms, arrhythmias such as atrial fibrillation are more common in older people. They may be caused by several types of heart disease. Normal changes in the heart include deposit of aging pigment, lipofuscin. The heart muscle cells degenerate slightly. The valves inside the heart, which control the direction of blood flow, thicken and become stiffer. A heart murmur caused by valve stiffness is fairly common in older people. The baroreceptors become less sensitive with aging. This may explain why many older people have orthostatic hypotension, a condition in which the blood pressure falls. When a person goes from lying or sitting to standing, this causes dizziness because there is less blood flow to the brain. The capillary walls thicken slightly. This may cause a slightly slower rate of exchange of nutrients and waste. The main artery from the heart, aorta, becomes thicker, steeper, and less flexible. This is probably related to changes in the connective tissue of the blood vessel wall. This makes the blood pressure higher and makes the heart work harder, which may lead to thickening of the heart muscle. hypertrophy, the other arteries also thicken and stiffen. In general, most older people have a moderate increase in blood pressure. The continuation of this topic, let's all hear from Miss Jennifer Mabasa.
Hi. In addition to aging changes in the heart and blood vessels, in blood, the blood itself changes slightly with age. Normal aging causes a reduction in total body volume. As part of this, there is less fluid in the bloodstream, so blood volume decreases. The speed with which red blood cells are produced in response to stress or illness is reduced. This creates a slower response to blood loss and anemia. Most of the white blood cells stay at the same levels, although certain white blood cells important to immunity, neutrophils, decrease in their number and ability to fight off bacteria. This reduces the ability to resist infection. Here are some effects of changes in our circular system. Normally, the heart continues to pump enough blood to supply all parts of the body. However, an older heart may not be able to pump blood as well when you make it work harder. Some of the things that make your heart work harder are certain medicines, emotional stress, physical exertion, illness, infections, and injuries. And that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.